These guys know how to produce fighters. They know how to coach them up, and Adam de Freitas is a scary fighter. I saw him 4 times in Ace Fighting Championships, 4 submission victories.
And it's always tricky when you're sporting an AMI record of 7-1. Sometimes at that point, you're just like, you know what? It's time to turn pro. I'm doing this. I'm fighting everyone. I'm having success, and I'm getting it punched in the head for free with no headgear, right? So, like, it's time to pull the trigger, turn pro, and you know, it's going to be exciting. A tall guy. I mean, 6 feet for lightweight. You're going to see him probably taller than a lot of the guys in terms of that division.
And when you break down Adam de Freitas, this is a man that has been looked at as so dangerous. He has attempted to turn pro 4 times. The first 3 attempts, he had fighters pull out on him the week of the fight. This, the 4th time, apparently now the charm, as Kris Allard is here and ready to go. But when you take a look at that corner, Rory McDonald, Lucas Chaston in the corner for Adam de Freitas, Parabellum here in force. He is going to be very tough. This is a motivated man to finally make his professional debut.
Yeah, as you said, you're looking at his last fight, November 2016. I mean, and that's what happens. It's hard to not get disenchanted when it falls through and it falls through again and again.
Yeah, this is somebody after about his 3rd amateur fight, a lot of people were saying, you need to go pro.
Back up to Pete Trevino.
And his opponent, making his way out to the red corner, please welcome Kris Allard.
Kris Allard's another man I've seen on several occasions through PFC. He's fought both in the amateur ranks as well as on the kickboxing side out of Stratford Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His last time out, a win over Adam Gladue by punches in round 1. It was an exciting finish. Allard just overwhelmed him, but that may not be as easy against an opponent like de Freitas.
And it's interesting when you talk about his striking, and he's out of Stratford BJJ. So it's like we're seeing so much of these hybrid fighters where they're so well rounded, and you just don't know where they're going to take it. And I'm finding that because I commentate and work so much in Michigan. And when I see Ontario, I find that even a little bit more. I find you're seeing, because oftentimes they spend so much time training and not getting the opportunity to fight because of whether it's being legal or illegal to compete. It's trickier, right, to get these fights. So you'll see guys with like so many years in the gym with only very few fights, and so they work on all aspects of their game, whether that's staying busy with a jiu-jitsu tournament, or leaving and going for some Muay Thai. It's like you're seeing a lot very well rounded, and we saw that in the first fight as well.
And second fight we've called together, we're already on the same page, because I was just going to say a lot of what happens in Ontario, because these guys at the same experience level will all see each other either from competing against different gyms in smoker style shows or in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, grappling tournaments. They know each other so well that a lot of times you have to switch it up so that at least you're giving them something new, something they're not expecting. And that could be the difference in who comes away with the win here.
Well, luckily we don't judge a book by its cover, because I would just say that Adam is a striker and Kris is a wrestler in terms of body types.
Here we go, Windsor fight fans. The following lightweight contest is being brought to you by IBEW 773, Windsor's Penalty Box, and Thunder Road Harley-Davidson. Scheduled for 3 rounds in the lightweight division, here are your fighters. First, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks trimmed in gray, red, and white. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at 153.4 pounds. He comes to the cage representing Parabellum MMA for his professional debut fight tonight. Fighting out of Mississauga, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Adam Clooney de Freitas. His opponent across the cage, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue trunks trimmed in black. Standing 5 feet 9 inches tall, he weighed in at 156 pounds. He comes to the cage representing Stratford Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with a record of 1 win and 1 loss. Fighting out of and representing Stratford, Ontario, ladies and gentlemen, here is Kris Allard. Referee Patrick Hula with fight instructions.
All right, gentlemen, listen to my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. If you wish to do so now, touch gloves. All right, Dr. Barnes, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this Prospect Fighting Championships lightweight contest will be decided in 3 rounds or less.
Two guys that have had trouble getting opponents to agree to fight them, and you can see the respect that they obviously have for one another. They'll touch gloves off the top. It's Allard in the blue, DeFreitas in the black, and this is going to be quite the clash of styles.
And both coming out as southpaws. So oftentimes it's it's trickier sometimes to get work for that. But that stiff jab of Adam, I mean, he needs to do that where he's got to keep that length. Because that's a tricky, when you're so much taller than somebody, you may have the advantage if you use it, but it's so quickly they could close that space.
And Allard wrestling him straight down, rolling him through, and Allard trying to get into the guard of DeFreitas. This is where Allard is so dangerous. On the ground, ignore the frame. He is extremely strong. And now looking for a knee bar. Oh,
And just
DeFreitas.
rolling through it, Adam, a good job. You're not seeing too many of those, people get those off anymore. Just people are more familiar with that jab is great. If he's got to keep his feet moving though, because you can't jab and be stationary. It's way too easy to get inside that.
That jab is where DeFreitas had so much of his success in the amateur ranks, keeping fighters to the outside, forcing them to drive in, and that's how he created a lot of his submissions.
You know, he does a good job of using that range. You know, using his jab, using his stick. People don't utilize that enough, and it makes a big difference. Explosive, like hook left hand from Kris, and those are the shots you're going to see land. He's going to try some 1-2s, they won't land, but he's going to have to go with the explosive shots to get in.
Now from this position, this is where DeFreitas is going to have a bit of an issue, more so than what he had on the amateur ranks and working against somebody like Chris Allard, because Allard's not going to get frustrated. He's not going to panic from this spot on the ground. But when you've got Rory McDonald, who is a high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt in your corner, that makes a huge difference to your ability to be able to work through these scenarios.
The only tricky thing for Kris is, not having the cage to try and prop himself, try and get back up. But he's got a strong jiu-jitsu background, so probably very comfortable sitting here on his back.
Yeah, both of these men look extremely confident in what they're doing just at the moment. Allard able to reestablish his guard up at the top. DeFreitas looking to put pressure, stack up, and maybe try to create a little bit of space. And you can hear out to our right Rory McDonald walking him through every part of this position.
I think Kris is doing a good job of staying very active, very busy from the bottom. I mean, that because in a lot of judges' mind, you're the guy on top, you're the aggressor. Whereas when you're on the bottom, you could be trying to run submissions, and if you're active enough, they're not going to give all of those points away.
DeFreitas' corner asking for elbows. They want to see a little bit more action, but at the same time, Allard not allowing him, as you said, Karen. Look at how he's keeping him tight in. That guard is tight, and he's able to get up on the back and pull him in. Now DeFreitas creating some space.
Well, it's funny when you are coming. This is a debut for Adam, and you have to get used to elbows. It's not something that comes naturally. You haven't been using them. It's something that's a little bit trickier for people when they're initially turning pro.
Well, even just the ability to throw a proper elbow strike. It's not simply just throwing your arm down. It's being able to turn that over and actually make it into the weapon that it is. That isn't something that's going to come just overnight and natural. That's something that you have to work on to perfect, like a Kenny Florian. And now Adam DeFreitas posturing up, able to reign.
And that's when he's having success. When he postures up, his length is so long. I mean, and he can utilize that. He needs to posture, get a few shots, and go back down.
And part of that could be that in the amateur ranks from this position, this is where DeFreitas would be able to come through with a submission attempt. This is where he'd be able to finish a fight. But against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu exponent in Allard, it's not that easy, and it's creating the fact that DeFreitas has to posture up to be able to get that advantage as Allard goes up for that high guard, near a rubber guard as he comes up, very BJ Penn style. Now he's lost it back down the back, but keeping it closed.
Well, I think for him, for Kris, is the biggest benefit to himself is just trying not to let Adam posture up.
Now
and there
he does.
Goes, yeah.
Well, that was right on cue.
45 seconds. We can do this.
And you can see Allard sits back up. He's not panicked. He's not rushing. He's now going to try to work on that arm and try to pull away potentially looking for a Kimura.
Adam trying to
opportunity.
pass, but I mean, I just think that Chris's position, he just gets too strong at some points, you know, to let him pass. And he reverses the position and looking for himself to kind of seal the round, trying to get it back.
What a reverse from Allard is now. He looks to rain down.
And explosive, like wrestling explosive. You know, that's, he potentially caught in a triangle. We'll see what happens from this point.
Allard tried to drive through the legs. I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to accomplish out of that. Now looking for a submission, but he may run out of time here. Freitas is down, and the round is over as he was looking.
You know, he almost
ankle.
had that.
Yep.
He almost, because his legs being so thick and strong, I mean, he had that pretty sealed up. And I mean, if we would have had 20 more seconds, we don't know what would have transpired there. But we have seen Adam Freitas roll out of that earlier, you know, and that's something that if you can keep trying it, but if you're not having success, maybe abandon it and look to get on top and land some blows.
I think that time he was stuck. It looked like Allard
also
rolled that
the
off,
International
said,
Brotherhood of
locked it out.
Electrical
He had the
Workers,
knee in
Local
the right position,
773.
and then was moving for it looked like an ankle
Visit the
lock,
www.ib.ew773.ca.
and that would have been big trouble for Freitas.
And the sneaky thing about those, it's kind of like body shots and leg kicks. It's a way to soften somebody up because you never know.
Road,
Yes, you didn't get submitted, but you're going to come out this next round with a sore leg. And so you'll see how it can play an impact on the next round.
Make some noise, Windsor. Round 2.
And for the record, I'm going with ankle lock attempt there because I'm not sure if he was looking toe hold or heel hook. I couldn't quite tell from the hand position of Allard.
Great first round. This is round number 2. Adam Freitas in the blue corner, and we have Kris Allard in the red corner. First round, very back and forth, it seemed.
Freitas controlled it for the majority, but at the end, Allard was explosive, and Allard comes through again, trying to start the second round with a bang.
And Freitas' corner is saying exactly what is right. You have to, when you're the taller fighter, you have to be first to establish a range. If you're second, that shorter person and stockier person's inside your range, and you're not going to get the shots off you want. But he's waiting, right?
And that time it looked like Freitas actually pulled guard as Allard came in.
Look for that overhook. I've seen you do this 1,000 times.
Rory McDonald calling for mission control, looking to go to that rubber guard. The Eddie Bravo 10th Planet style. Allard able to get out of it, and again, attacking the leg, trying to get out of it.
And
it looks like he's all right from this position. He's got the knee bent, and Allard able to explode back up and on top into half guard.
And the thing is, you can hear his shots when Kris throws these shots. They're heavy. Like he landed a few on Adam on the way in, but.
Oh, and again, Allard raining down from up top. He's got a lot of space to generate power on those, and again, he is really going after a leg lock here.
Yeah, and this is where you almost have to.
Looks like he's got a heel hook attempt in, but I don't think he's got enough of it. That foot is sliding out. Yeah, now it does. But Allard in control of the position, able to sit back up with advantage.
You know, and the corner, you know, obviously position before submission, but I think the same thing of Kris. I think he's too desperate to hit some of those, you know, ankle locks and heel hooks and knee locks. Like he's, you know, could be focusing on other things.
A friend of mine calls it Imanari disease. You overly look for a leg lock or a heel hook like Masakatsu Imanari in Japan does.
Well, and this is where you end up. You're back on your back, right?
Yeah.
For your trouble.
When it works, it looks beautiful, and you get the win. If it doesn't, you put yourself in a really tough spot. And now Freitas is going to pressure him right into the cage. And when you're on the bottom of the bigger man, this is not going to be a fun position from Allard, but he's got the butterflies underneath and got the body locked.
Yeah, he did a good job of preventing Freitas from posturing up, because I think he has a lot of success because he's so rangy that when he postures, he lands some high volume.
But to that point, should Adam almost let this back up and try to work from the feet because of that extensive reach advantage?
2 minutes.
He has had some great advantage being in this position and posturing up, but it seems like the most damage he's done has been from that long jab.
Yeah, I know, and that's exactly what I'd be. Do whatever I can to get back to my feet and utilize my stand-up a little bit more.
So Allard seems to be able to lock him down pretty good from this position. He's got the guard closed, And then he's winning a lot of those wrist and forearm battles, able to lock those down, not allowing DeFreitas to get position, though. That time, he was able to come across. I'm not sure he got the full elbow in.
Yeah, I think from our position it's tricky. Like, we're not seeing what's missing, right? What's hitting, what's missing. And often, well, to judges, it seems like everything's landing, right? And then, you know, if you slow it down and you see it from a different angle, it's very different. Kris Allard doing a good job of just mitigating damage at this point.
And staying calm. There's no panic in his game. Like, he's been here 1,000 times before, although his eye is starting to swell. It looks like it's the left eye of Allard's got a mouse just above.
Yep.
And DeFreitas, looking to finish off. This would be beautiful. It's under the chin.
He's got to fight those gloves, but he's having trouble reaching and finding them.
I think he went gable grip and he got him. Rear naked choke submission victory. The intelligence in that moment as Kris Allard fought the grip down for Adam DeFreitas in his debut fight to on the fly against a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu exponent to think, I'm going to go from one grip right to gable and finish it from there. That's brilliance on his part. That's great training.
You know, I think this will provide him with a lot of work in terms of footage to like get better and better. Like his coaches are saying, be first. You're the long guy, the lanky guy. Don't let this guy come in on you. And I think he's going to be able to elevate his game tremendously. And I think for Kris, coming away from this is kind of like that. Once you're trying something doesn't work, abandon it, because he has so many other skills to bring to the table.
Yeah, this is not the last we're going to see of Kris Allard. He is a very talented jiu-jitsu fighter, and he's got heavy hands to be able to throw. But Adam DeFreitas showing off that despite the size, the length, the stylings that you would think would make him a striker, he can put you away on the ground. Submission after submission as an amateur, opens up as a pro. Rear naked choke victory and a beautiful grip change to make it happen. That is slick for someone in their debut. We'll go back into the cage to Pete Trevino.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause, please, for both of the fighters in this cage. And now for your winner. Your tap out came at 3 minutes, 59 seconds of the second round. For your winner by short choke submission, Adam Clooney DeFreitas.
All right, Adam, congratulations. I know you have waited a long time to make your pro debut, 3 different occasions. People have pulled out on you. What are your thoughts of finally making your pro debut? How does it feel?
The 2-year layoff, I was definitely filled in there how tired I was, but guy's an animal, hats off to him.
Did you know much about him coming into this fight?
I knew he was a jiu-jitsu guy too, more top heavy, but I thought I was a little better in the jiu-jitsu game, so that's where I wanted to put it, especially when I was tired.
Yeah, what can you take away from this fight?
Got to get the cardio up. I was sloppy, and other than that, just keep getting more fights.
Now, who do you have to thank for tonight? We had a chance to hear your corner, coaching you through this, walking you through this. Talk to me about getting here tonight.
I train at the best gym in Ontario, Parabellum MMA. I got Rory and Lucas. I got Lyndon Whitlock over there. I also train at Maffa. I got Crew Gerald, Coach Rob, all my family there. I got a good crew surrounding me.
Now, last question. Oftentimes he's looking for leg locks, heel hooks. I mean, he was trying to take you out in that manner. Did you ever feel in danger of that?
Oh, my knee popped. I'm going to have to check it out when I get home. And I'm pretty sure one of those toe holds did some damage, but I'm a tough son of a bitch, so.
You are. You survived. Congratulations. Excellent fight.
Thank you.
Get that victory picture, baby.
Well, the Parabellum Gym continuing to turn out some stars in the world of mixed martial arts again. You've seen Lyndon Whitlock come through there, Josh Hill's come through there, Rory McDonald, very successful in both mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu. Adam DeFreitas, the next in that line.
Prospect Fighting Championships, Windsor, Ontario. Are you not entertained?